Today's video is going to be way different than what I normally do because it's Black Friday and Cyber Monday is around the corner and the holidays are almost here. I'm going to help you pay to win, get value, and smash your enemies in real life. Minus maybe the part about smashing your enemies because that's kind of completely unrelated unless maybe you're getting into a cooking competition. So we're going to go over a bunch of products that I think are really amazing. Not life hacks, that's the wrong way to describe them, but kind of. Like I've mentioned on stream that I use a standing desk and I got a walking pad. And I've lost 10 pounds just gaming, now walking on a walking pad with my standing desk instead of just standing or sitting at my desk. So stick around in this video for the products that I really like, and we're going to go over the following categories. Use the timestamps in the description to navigate to whatever part you want here. First of all, we're going to talk about your gaming rig, all right? What hacks can you do there? And like I said, I'm losing weight passively just playing games, which is pretty incredible. Then we're going to talk about, just very briefly, staying hydrated and healthy while you play games. Then we're going to talk about some pay-to-win cooking gadgets and tech that, hey, look, you want to impress people and also get value? Trust me, some of these cooking things are really great. From there, we're going to talk a little bit about the pay-to-win house. Things like the Roomba, a great vacuum, or an automated vacuum is really crucial. Couch stuff that I really like, and also pay to win with your kids, which like weirdly is a thing. I've described some of these things as like just straight up pay to win parenting. And hey, look, if you've got the funds to afford it, some of these things are really quite exceptional. And lastly, I'll leave you with some board game recommendations because like, hey, look, I'm a gamer, you're a gamer. We all like to play some board games every now and then, right? So let's get started with your gaming rig. Not a coincidence. I've got Varidesk featured right over here. And periodically throughout the video, by the way, I'll have either links directly on the screen or in the description of the video. Using those links is going to support the channel. I'm going to be using affiliate links as much as I can. So this video was like very much an experiment for me. It's like a huge departure from the sorts of videos I normally make because I think I can recommend a bunch of products to you that I use. And also, like, I get value, you get value, huge win. So those are affiliate links where I get some percentage of the cut if you decide to make a purchase. And no pressure either way. Like, look, I'm just presenting stuff that I really like, straight up. So I have two Varidesks. Varidesks are a motorized standing desk. You can change the height of the desk. I have the 60, I think by 24 model, and it's an electric standing desk. I've been extremely happy with it. I've had it for literally many years. And like I said, we were so happy with it, we got another one. I've got this color here for whatever that's worth. And you can see even in the picture, they put a little pad underneath it because, trust me, the standing mat is crucial, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. So there are a bunch of Cyber Week sales going on now. So getting a Varidesk now, if you wanted to try a standing desk, would be a great opportunity. Alternatively, I will point out that they also have these models over here. This is how I got my first standing desk situation, is I was like, bro, I already have a desk, okay? And this you put on top of the desk. So the way that works is it's sort of a spring-loaded way to raise up your monitor, and it works great. We had one of these for a really long time. My wife had one. It's through her that I learned about it. And I started using standing desks with this approach because I already had a desk, put this on top of it. And for a couple $100, this is a great pickup. Now, if you're going to have a standing desk, the first thing you've got to do is get a standing mat, like something to go under your feet. Trust me, this makes a night and day difference. So let me pull up on Amazon the exact mat that I'm using because I would recommend it very highly. Now, one funny thing I learned about Amazon is like they're doing everything they possibly can to dox your physical location. So I entered a fake location for my address over here to try to be like, please don't dox me, Amazon. Thanks. I'm trying to showcase products on your site, not get doxed. GG, bro. So anyways, completely fake address up in here. I'm on the East Coast. That's not on the East Coast. Like, totally fake. So right over here, this mat is fantastic. I enjoyed using this for a long time. It's hugely discounted. I was going to say I bought it for like $125 and it's worth every freaking penny, and it's a lot cheaper than a chair, okay? You can get it in different colors, I thought, but I guess the gray is what's on sale. I have the black, but like I just get it on sale for the gray. Easy. They probably have some other designs here that you could go and check out, but if you get a standing desk, you must get a standing mat as well. And we actually have a few mats in our kitchen where we do a lot of cooking typically, but not this exact design of mat. This has got what they call terrain. So like you naturally can kind of like stretch your legs around a little bit around the edges of the terrain and the center of the terrain. That's why it's designed sort of the way that it is. So you actually can stand and comfortably kind of stretch and move around instead of a perfectly flat mat, all right? And you can read the reviews on this one, kind of see what people are saying about it, all right? Of course, the real genius hack is something like this right here, the Red Lero walking pad. I got one of these. I think this is the exact one that I got. It's a well-rated walking pad. I didn't like do a ton of investigation into the most expensive ones. I was like, look, I think I'll use a walking pad. I don't know for sure if I'm going to like it. I think I will. And so I just bought it. And I have already used this so much more than I use my treadmill. This is your life hack right here. You get a standing desk, you get a walking pad, and it's called a walking pad because it's basically a treadmill without like the rig in the display, right? And so you control it using a little control over here. At least the model I have, it's got a little control, and boom, like that's it. It's that easy. I set it to walk 2 miles an hour, and after 5 hours, I've walked 10 miles. And like, do I stand in front of my computer for 5 hours? Yeah. I do lose a little bit of precision at that 2 mile per hour speed. I only really notice it when I'm editing videos and I actually need precision to select exact moments. I don't notice it when I'm just gaming. And like when I'm not on stream, and a part of the reason I'm not streaming as much, my KVK fighting, is that I'm on this treadmill and I'm just chilling. And I actually, no kidding, have a fan pointed at me while I'm doing it because like you will heat up after 10 miles, all right? So this is a huge optimization. Like I said, I've lost 10 pounds just passively doing this, which is freaking huge, okay? But the next thing I would recommend, if you are not sleeping well and you're staying up late gaming on your PC, it could actually be related to blue light. Let me show you these glasses that I think have helped me a little bit, but I still sleep terribly. So I got this brand of blue light blocking glasses because there's a ton of research that indicates that basically the blue light from your computer screen is too closely replicating the sun. And so your eyes see that and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be awake now. It's like that your body does the same thing, I think, with melatonin production. Like if you actually were to get up in the morning and walk around outside, your body starts to rhythmically sort of recognize like, oh, hey, like this is supposed to be the morning time because the sun is out. And that happens, I think, through your eyes, through light. So the problem with staying up late gaming is that your monitors potentially are creating a situation too closely representing daylight. And so your body thinks, I'm not supposed to go to bed yet. So what you do is you get, and I have a pair of these literally right here. Here they are, okay? I have the completely orange blue light blocking glasses. I bought one of these. I was like, oh, this is not what I want. This will block like 30% of the blue light, but like, hey, yo, I'm a DJ. I'm going to be up late gaming. So I got this. It blocks, I don't know, something like 99%. There, it says right here, 99% of the blue light. So you can do a little bit of research into that if you want to, but for $20-$30, like this is a pretty cheap experiment. And I feel like my sleep did improve slightly as long as I remember to use them. Does the orange color influence your gaming? A little bit. So I think it does. I mean, obviously it's going to change the color of literally everything you're looking at, but for the most part, it's been perfectly fine. And you get used to it in the sort of new color scheme if you're viewing things in, and you're off to the races. But if you're up late gaming and you're not sleeping, this is a very cheap experiment to figure out if it will help improve your sleep. And is that worth $30? Like, obviously, that's pay to win. Easy choice. Now from here, I want to talk very briefly about hydration, because like if you're actually now walking at your desk or you're just trying to quit drinking soda, this device here called a SodaStream is amazing. I really like seltzer. I used to like not particularly be into it, and it's way cheaper to basically make seltzer yourself. And that's what this machine does. And then you put flavor packets into it in order to make it, you know, something that is tasty if you wanted to have flavor in it. I think plain is perfectly fine as well. So, for example, I use the True Citrus brand. Let me pull that up real quick. Right, so this True brand right over here is what I use. It's 0 calories, and it adds flavor. And they have a bunch of flavors. We like grapefruit. That's what my wife really likes. They have orange. Grapefruit's in here somewhere. But, yeah, we get these packets. They're cheap. This is way cheaper than buying cans of soda or seltzer. This is way cheaper and way healthier than soda. So 10 out of 10. This is a great way to hydrate. The other thing that I've been doing is drinking electrolyte water, which like I feel like this is making a difference. Like I actually feel better after having it. I've been doing these drip drop packets that I think, I don't know, I actually think I feel better after I have one. They're something like 30 calories, which, you know, I don't like to drink calories generally, but I think I'm actually feeling better when I have one of these. So when I'm gaming, every now and then, if I'm drinking something orange, it's probably this. We have the orange flavor, which I think is the best flavor. The final beverage I'll recommend to you before we get back to some proper hacks here is, you may recall I used to drink a lot of tea on stream. Let me show you this brand. It is, in my opinion, the best. Not even close. This brand over here, I don't know why. It's just, in my opinion, tastes better than all the other teas I've been getting. And like, it's not going to beat really good loose tea that you brew yourself, but for tea that's already bagged, this brand, really, really good. Love it. Been using it for years. Let's get back to the topic of pay to win and shift gears and talk about kitchen. It drives me nuts that I have friends that will buy a $35 set of knives or $50 set of knives. It's going to be crappy. In a year or two, it's going to be dull and garbage, and then they just buy another one, and then they buy another one, and they've been doing this for years. It's so dumb, I can't even handle it. So the thing that you, in my opinion, should do is get a really nice set of knives. It's actually safer to cut with sharp knives rather than dull knives because you don't have to use as much force, and using a lot of force is how you make some dangerous cuts. And also, it's just honestly like a joy to use them. Like, my knives are my sacred space, and man, the only problem with getting nice knives is you have to actually train your entire family on how to handle those knives, and they will always mess it up. I love them. I appreciate them. Stop putting my knives on the sink. Stop cutting on things other than the cutting board. You're literally driving me insane. I love you. But you only really need 3 knives. And like, these are on super sale right now, which is part of the reason I'm mentioning it. There's a bunch of places you can get these. I'll have something probably centered on the screen. But you only really need 3 knives in your kit. Actually, it's kind of crazy. So you could go and buy like a block and has a bunch of knives in it and it feels like value. Technically, things are a little discounted, but you really, in my estimation, if you're buying knives, should customize for what you need. Now, there's only, as I said, a couple knives you need. One is a chef's knife. And I really like the Shun Classic line of blades. There's some really expensive Japanese knives. There's a whole thing about German knives and Japanese knives. I like the Japanese knives. They have a, I think it's a sharper edge compared to the German sort of cut of knives, like, whooshed off, for example. But these knives, if you go with the Shun, and I'll see, there's all these different brands. It's easy to get confused, and some of them are really expensive. But like, Shun is like entry level, and it's still so good. So here is the Shun Classic 10-inch chef's knife. Now look, at the end of the day, if you're buying knives, you probably should go to a place like Williams-Sonoma or wherever in person and just like try a bunch of knives and feel the handle and feel how the knife feels in your hand. That's like really critical for finding a knife you enjoy. But fun fact, at one point, Alton Brown, who's like, like all hail, all bow down before the might of Alton Brown, who's just an amazing chef and educator and TV celebrity, he had a sponsorship arrangement with Shun, and apparently that went completely sideways at some point, so he's actually not happy with them. But I have been extremely happy with my Shun Classic knives. Now, with regard to like what you get, you want to get a chef's knife, ideally the biggest that you can fathom, that you can handle. And theoretically, you will get more and more accustomed to the size of the blade the longer you use it. So I actually have a 12-inch chef's knife. And I use that for a bunch of stuff. But if you wanted something, I think a little bit more, I don't know, sort of foolproof. I feel like a Santoku is a really great choice. So the Santoku is a slightly different shape. I should know a little bit more about this, but I have a classic Santoku. You can get the hollow ground, which is what's shown on here on the right, and theoretically, food is less likely to stick to the blade. I don't know if I really noticed that or not. But I have I think it's a 7-inch Santoku, a 12-inch chef's, and like, honestly, if you got a moderately sized chef's knife, these are doing the same thing. So like, you don't need both of these. Theoretically, there are advantages for which blade you use when, but I find, you know, for those that are not actually educated in how to properly cut, and like most people aren't, you know, properly using a chef's knife anyways, the Santoku works pretty good. So if you're getting a knife, either the Santoku or the chef's, and then you get a paring knife. The paring knife is what you do for all your small jobs. Super easy to use, super straightforward. We got a classic 4-inch paring knife. That's it. Very simple. Okay. Those are the like 2 expensive knives you buy. Then there's the bread knife. That's the third knife you need. And you just get a stupid cheap bread knife. It's serrated. It doesn't matter. You can throw it away eventually, but you're going to like actually cut bread like once or twice a year, probably. I don't know. You know, if you actually cut bread in your house, but like most people aren't even going to use their bread knife anyways. So if you just get like 2 really nice knives, okay, you get yourself a chef's knife, you get yourself a paring knife, or the Santoku and paring knife, and you're in a really good spot. And you know, if you wanted to try these knives, you can. The next thing you might want to get is a honing steel, and that keeps your knives super sharp. This is different than sharpening the knives, which you will do periodically. A honing steel like realigns the edge of the blade to be sharp again, which is kind of cool, whereas sharpening the knife actually removes metal from the blade in order to make it sharper again. And you don't actually need to sharpen all that much. I've had my Shun knives for a really long time, and I've just been really happy. Technically, I also have a knife block, which like, I don't know. You can get a block to store them, and I think that works pretty well. I actually can't find where's the block? Okay, I'll just search for it over here. It displays nicely. Okay, that's it. I have multiple knives, as I said. My wife wanted a smaller chef's knife so she'd be more comfortable. So we have like a 6-inch chef knife that she likes to use. We also have the scissors. Dude, let me tell you something. Kitchen shears, if you actually want to carve like a chicken, or we just find so many uses for kitchen shears. They're actually really impressive. So that's another option. Shears, yep. And they're so cheap, and they do work, man. So pay to win in the kitchen. Works really, really well. Now, if you're going to go this route of getting nice knives, you need a good cutting block, and let me just show you that really quickly. So this brand of cutting board, it's Boos, B-O-O-S. That is like the gold standard for what a cutting board ought to be. They're more expensive, but like you can't get nice knives and then cut on anything other than a nice cutting board. I mean, you could use a crappy one, but then you just have to throw it away. And there's a ton of reasons why a wood cutting board is better than plastic cutting boards and so on. I won't get into the virtues of like what kind of cutting board to use when. But I will say, with regard to the cutting board size, my understanding is that you want to have your knife go diagonally across the board, and you need to have at least 2 inches on each side of the knife. Otherwise, the board is too small. So typically, you want to get a pretty big cutting board. And when I'm presenting food, I put it back on to like the clean cutting board, and I put that on the table. And man, it is an impressive presentation when you're cooking something really spectacular. And look, when I have company over, I like to cook some pretty spectacular stuff. I've mentioned on stream that I'll cook like a tomahawk steak, for example. And when I cook a tomahawk steak, like I cut it on the board and I serve it on the board, and it is an impressive presentation. All right. Boos boards, I'll have a couple either links or up on the screen, a way to get one of these if you're interested. The last product I'll mention in the kitchen is a griddle. My wife got one of these. You plug it in, it's electric. She freaking loves it. You basically can cook pancakes or eggs on this like really nice, large, non-stick surface. Also, I really like to make a Korean style pork belly, and this is a great way to sort of prepare that, where you need kind of a lot of surface area to work with. So something like this actually works I found like in more situations than I would have expected. But let's move on to other pay-to-win topics here. Let's go and talk about the P2W Home. I suppose it was almost like 10 years ago now that my wife and I got a Roomba to clean the house, and it was an amazing choice. This is actually back when we had a one-bedroom apartment and we were living together, and it would just go around and it would clean up. Really, really great. This is what she will buy now. So like I said, the one we have is 10 years old, and she's actually still using it, which is kind of incredible. So we have a little kid and a baby. Baby's like 8 months old and crawling all over the place. And so we want the floor to be clean. So when we're doing bedtime routine and we're upstairs with the kids, we basically have the Roomba running all through the first floor, cleaning things up. Works extremely well. This particular robot vacuum both mops and, dusts, I guess, picking everything up. And what's really crazy is that like now these are so sophisticated that they'll like map out your house and you can tell it like do this room or that room and it'll know where to go, which is really crazy. So if we were getting a robot vacuum now, this is the one we would get. And I can recommend that a product like this, especially if you have little kids crawling around, is a nice pickup and is a pay-to-win way to avoid actually having to clean the floor yourself. I suppose, however, if you are going to go and manually clean, which like I do, like, I'm the dad in the household. All right, I got to go get bugs periodically. And also I do my fair share of cleaning. This is the cordless vacuum we have. Works great. Ours is several years old now, but we've been extremely happy with our Dyson vacuum. 10 out of 10 can recommend. The next pay-to-win upgrade for your home that I'm going to recommend is a Nest thermostat. We've been super happy with having a Wi-Fi connected thermostat. Makes a huge difference. I mean, you can set the temperature from literally anywhere you want. The thing I'm going to recommend for the home is a Lovesac Sactional. And I know this like sounds like a weird name, but it's basically like a pay-to-win couch. So it's kind of like Legos. There's bases and sides. They call them seats and sides. And it's so easy to rearrange your couch however the heck you want. In fact, I'm sure I can show you a page over here, Sactionals, where they're showing off like how stupid simple it is to rearrange your couch. So when I got this couch, I mean, look, it's really expensive, but we've rearranged our couch so many times into a bed situation for guests, into a different size couch, into having multiple couches in multiple rooms, into merging it back into a single couch. And we have on multiple occasions went in, bought more seats, bought more sides, bought more covers. And like, we're just able to kind of rearrange however the heck we want, which, dude, I find that to be extremely valuable. Like if I'm getting a couch, this is just what I'm getting. So can recommend if you use that. I have a code. I think you got to enter my email, chisgule@gmail.com, and it'll give me like a very, very small, I don't know what the amount is, kickback for having referred you. All right, next category is pay to win with your kids. I told you it's pay to win. This is not cheap. This is a baby bassinet, and it's a robot bassinet, which sounds scary until you learn that it's actually like very, very, very safe, safer than probably, I don't want to say any other way to sleep your kid, but like if you have a very young baby, I think it's 6 months old and younger, you basically strap them into the snoo. There's a special little cover they wear when they go in there. The real magic of a snoo is that it rocks your kid. It will rock your kid to sleep. If your kid is making sounds, it will listen. If they're fussing or moving around, it will detect it and it will rock them back to sleep and play sounds to put them back to sleep. And it works freaking wonders. Like this thing was worth every penny with our kid. And like, look, you can buy a new one or there's a ton of ways to go and get a used one. We got ours. I couldn't believe it, from someone who lived nearby for like $500. It was the deal of the century. They saved the box and everything. Cause like, a lot of people have a kid and then they don't need the thing anymore. And it's really expensive for 6 months, but it's worth every penny. Any amount of sleep we could recoup by virtue of having this rather than having to get up and, like wake up and be active, soothing the child, worth every penny. If you can pay to win parent, this device is pretty damn cool. Up next is a couch for your kids. This is called the Nugget. Very trendy, very popular. The Nugget is basically kind of like Lego couch, but for your kids. I mean, it's like a bunch of different pieces that you can rearrange into different shapes. And we have been super happy with the Nugget. The kid plays with it, loves it. She's now almost 4 and still like really enjoying her Nugget. And this, there is a special link I'll have in the description. I don't know what the bonus is for referring on this one. My wife gave me a list of some of these products. She's like, put it in your video. All right, you got it. So Nugget couch, very happy with it. We play on and around and sit on and around this in the kids' playroom all the time. Up next is the Guide Craft Toddler Tower. We have one of these, different color scheme, where basically it lets, we have a white one, that lets your kid stand with you in the kitchen at your island, or, you know, by the stove, although you got to be careful they're not too close to the stove, right? But we've been really happy with this for having our kid in the kitchen engaging with us. And, you know, this is where they stand and they eat meals when we're eating at the island. This is where, when we're prepping food, we'll give them their, you know, kid-safe, you know, plastic knife, and they can do their own prep. And, you know, I mean, loosely defined as do their own prep, right? But they're cooking and cutting and feeling like they're engaged in the process, right? So we've been extremely happy with this. My wife originally got one from Etsy, not this brand, but it was just like some person who made a tower, and it tipped over, which is like really terrifying. And I would not recommend getting some bullshito tower from somewhere random. Like, get a proper tower, bro. Etsy. GG, man. Kid was fine, didn't get hurt at all, but like, yeah. If you're gonna get a tower, like a reputable brand really matters a lot. We've been extremely happy with ours. Now, assuming you actually like sleeping once your kid gets a little older, this thing has been absolutely amazing. It's called the Hatch Rest Plus. And what it does is changes colors and plays sounds, and you can control it with a phone. And you're like, why the heck would that matter? Well, when the light is red, you stay in your room, and when the light is green, you can come out. And that is a really great mechanism for teaching your kid when they're supposed to stay in the room and be sleeping, and when they're supposed to, you know, let mom and dad know they're ready to leave the room. So red light, green light, very good. Also plays noise, like plays sounds, and you know, our kid actually enjoys that, and part of what we do is she'll pick the sound for the night every now and then. So very happy with the Hatch Rest Plus. Great product. We also have a Yoto player. This is basically a music player for your kid. It charges with a little like cable on the bottom. You don't have to plug it in. It's like a round pad that you just put this on top of. So it's very kid safe. I mean, obviously it's designed for kids, and it's kind of like a boombox. Not that anybody knows what a boombox is anymore, but it's like a boombox for a kid. And they put this little card in, right? That card you see up top. That is where they control what the music is that's playing through the device. So we have lots of different cards. We have a Little Mermaid card. We have, I don't know, like pick your favorite Disney movie, and we've got a card for it. And we've got all, you know, some custom cards as well with, you know, mom and dad singing songs to the kids. So if that's what she wants to listen to, she's got that. The Yoto player, great device. Very happy with it. 10 out of 10. Now, for those of you that have been with the channel for a while, you can see last purchased another variation one time. Right. So we got this thing in pink last year because you all gifted super chats so much for a gift for my kid that like we went out and we bought this Land Rover. Like straight up, y'all super chatted. I bought it. And so we got my kid a Land Rover. And I never had a Power Wheels as a kid. So it was kind of cool to, you know, give my kid a Power Wheels and have her play around with the thing. And my experience of this is that like initially she lost her mind and really enjoyed it. And then it lives in the garage for a while unnoticed for like many months at a time. And then she'll rediscover it and get excited about it again. So this is not the kind of toy that like your kid will be playing with every day for the rest of their life. Like, you know, other toys that are in the playroom, but it is definitely a novelty that like when they're hyped about it, they're really hyped about it. This particular car has a remote. So, you know, I'm controlling it from a remote, which is pretty handy. I imagine they've got some pictures of that. We definitely wanted a 2-seater, by the way. So eventually my other daughter will be in this thing, you know, with my eldest daughter, which is going to be kind of cool. And it is very cute. when, you know, my daughter and her cousin or whatever are playing in this thing and driving around. Very, very cute. Best probably if you live in like a cul-de-sac or a place where, you know, no cars are coming by, right? And we actually rigged a little like flag onto the back of this thing just to make it more visible when it's on the street. You know, it's like a little thin rod that's, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet long with a tiny little flag on top, just to draw attention to the fact that like, hey, this thing is here. But you can see it's got, where was it? There's the little remote, okay? And it's fine. It's like not a particularly sophisticated remote. You can control the speed, and I mean, you know, it's a fun product. And also, by the way, we'll use my phone. I think there was a picture of it here to play Bluetooth music over here. So in this display, we can actually go in and connect my phone via Bluetooth. So, you know, I'll have the remote, and then on my phone, I'm streaming, you know, like Little Mermaid. My kid loves Little Mermaid. And that, you know, she's really enjoyed this thing. So thank you again for gifting this Land Rover to my child. She is very blessed to have a Land Rover at the time she was 3 years old when she got the thing. Thank you. The final parenting thing that's on our list, I mean, I might come up with a few more, but the final parenting thing that's on our list is a wonderful Luxe W4 stroller. And look, it's kind of like a little red wagon. Like we had a little red wagon, but that thing got beat up so fast and it was really cheap. If we were buying a new one, and I think we plan to in this holiday season, right? Like this is the brand we're ultimately going to get. And I mean, I don't know if we're actually going to get one of these or not, or if we'll ask a, you know, parent to gift one of these, but pushing your kid around in a little red wagon, or I guess they come in pink here, it's just really cute. The kids like, you know, playing around in the little sort of pen area. It's like a mobile playpen, right? Yeah. We've been very happy with it. We push our kid around. Like she'd rather not sit in a stroller. She'd rather sit in her little wagon and get pushed around than, you know, like a proper stroller around the neighborhood. So very frequently we will, you know, pull the kid around in a wagon. But this is actually, you know, not cheap, man. I asked my wife for recommendations. Man, this ain't cheap, but I did say it was pay to win parenting. So here we are. Now, if you're still with me, I got a couple board games I'm going to recommend toward the end of this video. And this whole video concept is very novel to me. So you got to let me know down below in the comments, like, was this cool? Is this something I should not do again? I don't know, man. I'll go back to our regular Rise of Kingdoms content very soon here. But, you know, it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday's around the corner. I want to give y'all, you know, some recommendations on things that I really like, products I really like, okay? So Wits and Wagers is a super fun party board game. And I hate trivia games, but this is a trivia game that's actually fun because a part of what you're doing is you're betting on what the right answer is going to be. So often what happens is they'll ask a question, people guess what they think the answers are, and typically they're, you know, in the form of ranges. And then you place bets based on what you think the right answer might actually be, or what's closer to the right answer. And so this is a trivia game that I actually enjoy. I generally dislike trivia a lot, but Wits and Wagers is super fun party game. My wife recommended Telestrations. I have probably played this. I can't remember playing it. She says it's a great party game. I'll take her word for it. She says it's a combination of telephone plus Pictionary. Cool. If you want like a proper board game, however, there's always Settlers of Catan. If you've never played Settlers of Catan, bro, I don't like, this is an iconic game. I don't know why it's listed as $113. This must just be like an old version you can't buy anymore. The base game is super cheap. Purchased January 2010. Jeez. Yeah, Settlers of Catan, classic, man. Classic. You roll dice, you collect resources, score points, save the universe, win the game, minus the save the universe part. Race for the Galaxy, however, is a, I don't know, not exactly a save the universe game, but Race for the Galaxy is an amazing card game. Absolutely loved it. It's more like a planet building game. You can see I bought this in 2010. But you basically are creating a system, and you've got cards that you're deciding which ones you play and which ones you're going to use as a currency. And 10 out of 10, this is like one of my favorite games. Played it for a very long time. I mean, I have played dozens and dozens of board games, but this one bubbles up near the top, all right? If you enjoyed the vid, throw a like on here, consider subscribing. There's either an affiliate link in the description or on screen. I'll have throughout this video had like product links displayed, and that's directly linking them from YouTube and their referral program. Thank you for making it through this video. This is an experiment for me, like I said. So I'm very much looking for your feedback on like, do this ever again, or only for when there's great deals coming around. I don't know, man. Some number of people probably aren't interested in this, but I thought I'd give it a try. All right. If you're looking for more standard Rise of Kingdoms content, like I actually had this up. Hold on. If you're like, bro, I'm trying to get value in Rise of Kingdoms and Call of Dragons, GTFO. Well, okay. So my recommendation to you would be to check out my video about the Pluto Mall, where for Lilith Games, you can go in and get 10% extra stuff when you go and spend money. And I've explained that way in depth in a full video. Card in the end screen in just a second. I hope you'll check it out.